What's up guys, welcome to another short and sweet video. I wasn't gonna make content on this car, I've already started the tune, but if it's just so cool, I thought I've got to do a video. So here we have C34 Stagea. These things are just so cool. You guys know I'm a huge fan of wagons. I'm a big long roof fan. So the fact that what you have here is essentially an R33 GTR estate. These things are just wildly cool. So this is running full R33 GTR gearbox, four-wheel drive. So this is an RS4 Stagea. Very, very cool car. I'm just warming up at the moment because I'm about to do an oil change. We've done a bit of a run-in on a fresh engine. So very, very cool car. I'm a huge fan. Would own one in a heartbeat. So I've just taken the front drive shaft out yesterday and just done a run-in. This is a stock RB30 bottom end that's been rebuilt with an RB25 Neo head. Still running the standard intake manifold. Yeah, basically all your standard RB stuff. Should go pretty well. We're doing a flex fuel tune on this thing. The hot side is a Pulsar GDX 3584 RS, so plenty of adequate turbo there to do some cool stuff. ECU is Adaptronic Modular plug-in, which I still maintain to this day. As far as capability, they're one of the best value for money ECUs on the market, but Andy seemed to write the software for software engineers, and it is very, very hard to navigate. It's not very intuitive, and it takes a long time to learn if you're not used to it. So a great platform for ECU, but also very, very convoluted and hard to work around. And this is the first flex fuel tune we'll be doing on this platform, so I'm interested to see how the ECU's fuel modeling goes, but the modeling in the Adaptronics is very, very good. So I expect that the flex fuel modeling will be great. But another interesting thing with this is we're actually got electronic throttle. So we've got fly-by-wire here. This is the first time we've ever set up any sort of fly-by-wire on an Adaptronic Modular ECU. So once again, something new, very hard to learn. So it's going to take a little while to tune this thing. Anyway, we'll get this run-in oil out of it, get some fresh oil in it, I'll change the plugs, then we'll be ready to do the 98. Once the 98's done, we'll move on to the E85, and hopefully over the next few days we can get this thing sorted out with the electronic throttle working, and hopefully make some good power. It should be good. So as much as the electronic throttle is a bit hard for us to learn something new on a new platform, I'm still infinitely more happy about that than trying to work a standard RB25 IAC. I hate them. So anyway, this is a very cool car. I wasn't going to do content, but here it is, just because it's too cool not to do a video on, so that everyone can see that it's been here. So yeehaw, let's get it. So while I'm under here doing this oil change, just to give you a quick look at what I'm talking about. So yeah, you can see R33 GTR gearbox. We've got our four-wheel drive with our front shaft, which goes to the front diff. So bulk, helicopters, washing machines, whatever you want to call it, but just a really, really cool setup that you don't see many of. It was sort of for a long time one of the best kept secrets. Not many people knew sort of what they were, but not so secret anymore. It's sort of at a point now where anyone that's into JDM cars really knows, you know, the Stagea and Lorel platform. But anyway, they're cool as. Really, really cool. Rightio guys, so just a quick update on where we're at with the big Stag. So far so good. We're cruising through. Just finished up the 98 on gate pressure, which is about 8 pound. So turning this thing to 7 grand. I don't really want to turn it much more than that because it's only a stock 30 bottom end. I used to turn mine in my drift car to like 7.5, 7.4, but I know that you're starting to play with fire around that sort of RPM on stock rod bolts with these things. So anyway, regardless, at 8 pound, you know, we're 330 at the wheels, which, you know, for this thing is, that's happy. Engine seems healthy. I did the oil change yesterday. The oil seemed nice and clean, so I think it's done a pretty good job with the engine and the build. It's not doing anything that I'm worried about. And yeah, it's party time. So that's awesome. So now I'm ready to start throwing boost at this thing. I'm not gonna go too crazy on the 98. I'm gonna keep it quite conservative. He didn't put any wideband knock sensors on it. Still only got narrowband knock sensors. So that in itself, I don't particularly like those knock sensors as far as being able to pick up knock. Secondly, obviously, we're still using the Neo RB25 Neo CAS. Now, although the Neo CAS is a lot better than the earlier ones, I still don't really like them. So I'd rather just not go crazy on the 98. It's no need to, it's gonna be flex fueled. So we're gonna keep 98 fairly conservative as far as timing because there's no knock control and I don't like those Kazas. So we'll save the partying for E85 and just do a nice healthy conservative tune on the 98. So righto guys, back here this morning with the family wagon. Ended up with a dead Mac valve yesterday, which ate in a fair bit of time, so we didn't get too far with it, but we did get a new Mac valve in it and did get some boost response happening. We are starting to wind in boost, but hopefully today we can get the 98 tune finished off. Yeah, he had the Mac valve mounted sort of down in here, when I was fault finding, when it wasn't responding to any changes in duty cycle, it was like too hot to touch. So I think it just got too hot in there and just cooked it. So I just chucked on another Mac valve yesterday and we're good to go now. So start winding some boost into the family wagon and yeah, get some boogie happening. Righto guys, we're cracking through this. I literally just set up the camera to get what was going to be the last 98 run at the moment, and Rex has just got home from gallivanting around and he's told me the cops have pulled someone up like just up the road a bit, so they'd definitely be able to hear it where they are. So we're just going to pause for a minute and hang tight until hopefully the cops go away before we start making heaps and heaps of noise. Happy with this thing, how it's going. 98's going well. We're doing awesome. It's just getting to the point where I'm pretty happy to pull it up on the 98. Again, we don't need to go crazy with the 98. We've got E85 to party with. I spent a fair bit of time today trying to figure out the closed loop control for boost. So yeah, like with most things with Adaptronic, it was pretty difficult to figure out. And from what I could figure out, I'm pretty sure that if I want to set up closed loop, and I want different boost settings for E85, I think I need to set up the closed loop on the E85 and then just put a duty cycle limit on the 98 correction is what I could figure out by setting it up. So I put that aside. I've just kept going with the open loop. Obviously getting to the duty cycle point for the boost I want to run on the 98 so that I know for hopefully when I do E85 and I can hopefully set up the closed loop, I know what cap I need to put on the 98 correction. But so far, so we're about 21 pound, 460, nearly 470. I just did one crank on the straps because the power curve is a bit wavy as well. This is the boost curve you're looking at here. So I just put one crank on the straps to try and get it smooth a bit, and that's when I set up the camera, and I was just gonna do one more run on the 98 to try and get it right. But I'm pretty happy with where we are there. It's good power for the boost. It's quite happy. Yeah, it's fairly accurate, yep.
I was just interesting that I noticed that pretty much where that's coming on the boost and hitting 20 pound with the 35 and the 3 litre is almost exactly what we normally see with a 3076 and the 2.5 litre.
Yeah. So
that 3 litre really
it's helps. A wicked combo. Yeah. It feels super strong. Yeah, it sounds strong. The thing's awesome. It's a really, really good combination. This 3584 RS on this 3 litre, wicked. About the only thing that I could say would set it off is like a nice little set of cams that still retain the VCT. I'm not sure if I showed it on the computer or not, but I did set up the VCT yesterday and it is worth about 50 horsepower through the mid-range. So VCT is freaking awesome. It's a good thing to keep. But anyway, that's pretty much the 98. Hopefully around 470, 465, 470-ish. We'll see what this last run brings, but we're about to get started on some spicy juice. And I'm pretty happy to throw a couple more pound at it and a few more degrees of timing, and pretty happy to go maybe just a smidge over 500 on the stock RB30 rods.
This thing does have cams.
Does it?
Yep.
Oh, well, it was just stock cams.
No, it's got, I can't remember what he said, I think 260s maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, it does have cams.
There you go, it does have little
cams.
cams.
He said it has cams.
I'll have to double check the messages he sent me. But anyway, either way, I'm stoked with it, so we're pretty sure the cops have
that's why it's happy.
Taken off.
That's why this thing's happy to rev out to 7. With the 3
yeah.
on the bottom end still.
All right, we'll film one run on 98. Hopefully it's a good run, and yeah, we'll get the corn juice happening. Righto guys, all sorted, happy with the 98, 460. Yeah, still, it's not, the car's not rocking, doesn't feel like a car is rocking, looking at the car, it's not physically rocking on the rollers. I think what that is the IRS loading up and unloading a little bit, the waviness. Anyway, we're not gonna go screwing around with it too much just to get the power curve. It is what it is. So anyway, 460 wheel on 98, I reckon that's pretty stout, so we'll drain this tank, get some E85 in it, and we'll start partying. All right guys, it's been raining pretty heavy, so I haven't been able to do anything, but I did confirm with the owner that they are Tomei PonCam 260s, so, you know, that obviously explains a lot as to why this thing's making so much power at the boost it was making, which is awesome. And this is not the first set of Tomeis that I've been very impressed by, so yeah, another tick for Tomei cams, that's for sure. So anyway, got the E85 in it, started doing some steady state stuff. The modeling is not right, but I think we need to have a look at the tune file at the charge temp corrections and stuff and sort a few other things out first. But I was just doing some steady state stuff with the E85 and it just died. We tested, killed power to the coils, killed power to a few things, fuel pump and stuff like that. ECU still had power, injector still had power. We found a dead fuse. We put another fuse in there and immediately when we hit the ignition it blew straight away, and we've tracked it down to some melted wires on the hot side which were run just underneath the turbo there. So some more heat issues.
We'll try those, that boost control, but that there seems like it's a bubble of wire sheath.
Yeah.
And all that's bubbled, so we'll try that, see if it was that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're cooked as well. There's something in there that's touching as well.
So we've separated those wires, we've got a new fuse. We'll try this again, hopefully it doesn't blow immediately again. But anyway, it's, you know, quarter to 5 on a Friday anyway.
Voices.
So we'll just do a bit of fault finding here. We'll fix this over the weekend, keep going on Monday. Sort out a bit of that tune file over the weekend as well. Look at a few things that we need to look at, and hopefully come Monday we can start really leaning on this thing on E85. I'm looking forward to it. I'm enjoying this car, except for all the problems it's having, obviously. But as you guys know, that's literally every car that comes here. So it is what it is. Unfortunately, that fuse immediately blew as well. So keep on digging through this wiring. But, you know, it's got to be a short for something that gets 12 volt, which is why we started there, because it's on the hot side, and obviously the Mac valve gets supplied 12 volt, but that wiring is supplying a lot of lights and other things, so there's probably lots of things there, those 12 volts, so anyway. Frustrating, but it is what it is. All right, that will just about do it, kiddies, boys and girls. Anyway, heat management, very important, guys, but that is the problem, which is, now we just got to fix it. At least we don't have to spend hours and hours looking for it, so that's all right. I'll do that over the weekend. I'm going home. It's Friday. Righto guys, we're back here this morning and back into the Stag. Rex fixed this timing up and we're just going to leave it over the top of the coil table for now. We'll let the owner sort that out when he gets it back, but it did fix our issue that we were having with the short, which means we can now continue on with the E85 tune, send it to the moon. Alright guys, just going to summarise the end of this video so you don't have to watch another 5 minutes of just talking. But we didn't get far with the E85, obviously. We had a little bit of an ignition breakup. Needed to get the plugs down a little bit, but on bigger issues for the day, we were out of injector. We were actually hit over 100% injector duty cycle at the same boost as we were on 98. Unfortunately, at this point, I was in the shed by myself and the car did not have an onboard fuel pressure sensor. So I had to wait for Rex to return so that he could watch the fuel pressure regulator while I did a run to confirm what was happening with fuel pressure. And we did confirm that fuel pressure had dropped. Even at idle, fuel pressure had actually dropped quite considerably. So there was obviously some sort of issue in the fuel system. I had chatted to the owner and he had confirmed that he had to reset the fuel pressure multiple times prior to actually bringing it for a tune. So that would sort of point to obviously an issue with the regulator or perhaps the pump or the wiring or something. But there was obviously just some sort of fuel supply issue with the car. So obviously we couldn't continue with the tune in this condition. The owner opted for us to just drain the tank of E85, put the 98 back in. I dialed the boost right back on the 98, almost back to gate pressure until the issue is rectified, and the car will be returning in future with the fuel system fixed to have the tune completed, finished off, and we're looking forward to seeing it back for the E85 and to make the power that we would like to make. While the owner has taken the car to sort these things out, I have requested that he put a onboard fuel pressure sensor in the car so that I can see these sorts of things. Really, really good thing to have. But anyway, that just about did the Stagea. So that's where I'll pull up this video anyway, guys. That's the Stag for now. Look forward to seeing it back in a future episode, getting some E85 love and a smidge over 500 horsepower on these stock rods. Yeehaw. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, peace out. See you, bye.